In 2007, Jaguar launched a model that began a bit of a resurgence for the brand. It was the first in a line of modern Jaguars that now includes the marvelous XJ and one of my personal favorites, the V8 F-Type Coupe R. It's hard to believe that almost a decade has passed since the birth of that car. The XF. The executive sedan that was always a cut above in terms of pure style but way behind in terms of sales is now on its second generation, the launch of which was held recently in Johannesburg. The new car is fractionally shorter than the original and has a completely reworked interior with more space. It's also this many books lighter than the original, and with new engines it's also more efficient. It's also disappointing. Styling-wise, it looks like just about every other Jag sedan. Sure, there's nothing necessarily wrong with the aggressive front end, and it is a beautiful shape, and the rear lights are quite different from anything else in its class. But design-wise, it is, well, I don't want to say lazy, because designing a car is never an easy job, but it is a little boring. And boring is not a word you associate with the company that designed this car, once the fastest production car in the world, and this car, which is an icon. And this guy, Jaguar design director Ian Callum, is someone for whom I have a lot of respect. Not only has he created some almightily beautiful cars, but for car design royalty, which he is, he's also a genuinely nice guy. I'm sure there was a huge element of corporate guidance in this car's design, with the requirement that the XF is unmistakably Jaguar, which it is. Unfortunately, it's almost indistinguishable from the smaller XE, and that means there's nothing to make it stand out. Just like the styling, the interior has also inherited a lot from the XE. It is a very clean and simple layout with lots of horizontal lines. There's decent tech with a touchscreen system and sat-nav, and in the true Jaguar tradition, the obligatory dancing dashboard bits. Even after all this time, the pop-up rotary controller and rotating air vents still add a bit of theatre that you don't get in any other car. Adding to that are top materials, great seats and very good space. The XF interior delivers what you'd expect in this class. It's a comfortable place that's easy to interact with and particularly nice looking, even if it is almost identical to the smaller XE. For rear passengers, space is particularly generous and the boot is massive. There are 4 engine choices. At the top of the pile, 2 versions of a supercharged V6 petrol with 250 or 280 kilowatts. Under those are a 2-litre petrol and a 2-litre diesel, which is what we're driving. And the immediate impression is that it's not scared to let you know that it is a diesel, and not because of a torquey power delivery. In fact, from pull-off, things are rather sedate. But it is very noisy. It sounds a little old school and not as refined as a similar one you might find in a BMW or Mercedes-Benz. That said, it's not so bad that it detracts from the overall enjoyment of the drive, and besides, Jaguar will tell you they've concentrated on very dull things like thermal management and mechanical friction to improve efficiency, rather than make it super refined. As a result, it puts out 132 kilowatts and 430 newton meters, and will apparently get by on just 4.3 litres per 100 k's. In the short time that we've had this car, we've driven it in a mix of conditions. We've done start-stop traffic, we've done suburban driving, we're now on the highway. And the best thing I can say is that it feels just like it should. Steering is nicely weighted, the ride setup is well sorted, and it's all very civilized. But it's nothing out of the ordinary. It doesn't seem to deliver any sort of excitement. It's a comfortable, well-behaved thing. The power delivery is steady and the 8-speed automatic goes about its business in an unobtrusive way. In fact, if it were up to the XF, your daily drive would be just that, unobtrusive. That's not to say the XF doesn't perform when you start imposing your will on it. Show it some corners, put your foot down, and this comfortable city cruiser becomes a grippy, agile, grin-producing performer. All that enjoyment comes as a bit of a surprise, given that it's so well-mannered in every other respect. It'll corner with brilliant grip and great steering input, and even the engine and gearbox start to chip in. Using the shift pedals allows you to keep things in the power band and gives the XF great mid-range punch. Some of that is down to the suspension, which is a reconfigured version based on the F-Type. Then there are some clever electronics like torque vectoring. On a closed circuit, Jaguar demonstrated how the system works, braking the inside wheel to keep on the chosen line, even on a slippery concrete surface. The new Jaguar XF doesn't immediately come across as anything special. It is good looking, but then again, so is every other Jaguar. It's got a very good interior, but it's nothing massively better than the competition, and the everyday drive is also about on par. But give it some space and you'll uncover a hidden talent for performance that proves that this car can be a very entertaining drive. The diesel motor and 8-speed automatic gearbox combination are very polite in everyday mode, delivering steady and smooth progress without any real thrills. It may not be a standout member of the Jaguar family, and it's also the most expensive choice in its class, but it offers good looks and an interior with good comfort and spec. It'll also deliver a surprising level of involvement when pushed.